My name's Paula McEntee and I am Creative Director at Red Dog. I studied visual communications at DIT Mountjoy Square, which is now TU Dublin, and I started studying a 4-year degree in visual communications there. So it was a very, very broad course, I suppose. Like, a lot of it was around image making and typography, a lot of the fundamentals of good design. I did my Leaving Cert in 1998 and opted to do my portfolio course while I was studying my Leaving Cert. So I just worked and did extra classes during that year, and thankfully it worked out. And I'd say I was a little bit green going into college, coming straight from school, but I suppose I really relished the 4 years there. I found my niche, I suppose, in always thinking about what was happening potentially in current affairs and different things that kind of always informed a lot of the projects or the angles I took. So I always loved how copy and image work together, and even to this day I see them working side by side. So I was very much influenced in that respect. Just about a year after I left college, I got the opportunity to do a week's work experience at Red Dog. It was founded by Mary Doherty the day after her graduation. Mary asked me to come back in and if I wanted to help out on projects. So I used to be dipping in and out between October and Christmas, just helping out and getting experience. It was great. And then in January, I was offered a full-time part in the company, which was great. Like, Mary, I suppose, really took a punt on me. I suppose she's always been great. She's always been very encouraging. She, she'll always allow juniors to come into the studio, to have a bite of the apple and to get to approach large projects and see how they think, because at the end of the day, it's all about a great idea. That's what graphic design is about, a great idea, and the execution of it follows that, but everything has to sit on a great idea. I suppose I never said no to anything. I've always been very tenacious and determined, and I was always one of those people who would sit into the night trying to figure things out. And I suppose I always had I suppose I describe myself maybe as a bit of an all-rounder. I always liked editorial and layout, so I would give a hand with a lot of report layout, brochure layout, but I always suppose I liked being part of the teams when there was brand identity work being done as well. So was it 2012, I think Mary asked me if I would like to be creative director. So I was very honoured and a bit surprised, but very honoured to take on that role. And it's a role that I relish. It's a role that I'm constantly learning on every day. I think that's the one thing, is that you never quit learning on the job. There's always new ways and better ways to do everything. The kind of work we do would be typically branding projects, a lot of rebranding projects, particularly at the moment, and we do a lot of annual report design. But like, our work spans across everything from creation of film to illustration to digital design. So at the end of the day, it's about finding the right channels to convey that message, and that's what's important. For me, a creative director is someone who, I suppose, guides the creative vision of a studio. It's about it's upholding creative excellence. It's making sure that designers are responding correctly to a brief and making sure that we produce the best work we possibly can. I suppose a creative director can be involved in a lot of different things, from the day-to-day to even business development, and I suppose more strategic thinking as well. So it's a very varied role, but ultimately it's very rewarding as well. I tend to walk away from a project if I feel a little bit of stress or a bit of pressure or anxiety. And when I say walk away, I don't mean I abandon it completely, but I take a break. Sometimes it's about coming back to things with a fresh perspective is what really makes all the difference. I used to print everything out and leave it on my desk the night before, and then walk in the next day and look at it with completely fresh eyes. And most of the time I used to go, okay, I'm getting there. This actually looks better than it did look at 9:30 or 10 o'clock last night, or whatever the time may be. So I find that, again, stepping away usually helps. I think what drives me most is the determination always to be better. I think I have this kind of stubborn streak. I just want everything to be the best. Everything I do is never good enough, so I want it to be better. So I think that's what drives me. I also feel, I suppose, a real sense of satisfaction when I know a client is very happy with what we've done for them, and in some instances it is transformative for an organisation, sometimes the work we do, and it seems a bit dramatic to say something like that, but sometimes it really can help change impressions of a business and how they engage with their own stakeholders. So that's the kind of thing that drives me. Also working with a great team, because team is everything. I think it's when things are pressured and you have a lot on, you realise how good your team are, because when you have a team performing under pressure and producing great quality work, excellent work, it's the sum of the parts is what matters. And I have to hand it to Mary as well, for she drives us on all the time. She has a great energy. We're 27 years in business now in November, and she has still got fresh ideas about everything and wanting us to be as brilliant as possible. So I think that team, she realises as well that the power of kind of keeping the team going is really important. I would tell my 18-year-old self to cool the boots, and that not to worry, everything will work out, and that you aren't expected to crack everything, from day one. Even when you come out from college, you don't know everything. You're still learning on the job. I'm still learning on the job this far into my career. And I think enjoy the journey as well.